There is only one bitch in this world, and her name is Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, and welcome to the special Reboot edition of Charmed Chats with Kendra
and Kat.
We're covering the season finale of Season 1, The Source Awakens, which, full disclosure, I did not realize was a pun at first.
Which
I was
is
like,
really
this
sad.
is really weak, and then I remembered Star Wars. But that's just to show, like, I separate these two out so far in my mind that, like, Source Awakens, I'm just like...
Your fandoms do not collide very often?
I mean, they do, but it's usually in, like, artwork and shit.
Yes.
Like, here are the characters from Star Trek, but dressed up in Star Wars outfits, kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, what Hogwarts house is everyone? Leia's a Slytherin, babes. She is super fucking cunning and ambitious.
Yep.
Han is a Hufflepuff, because he's always making friends.
Yep.
Luke is probably Ravenclaw, because he's useless.
Well, excuse me.
I'm a Ravenclaw, too.
We are not useless.
We are no great finders.
No, we are no great finders. But, you know.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's... Okay, actually, no, he might be a Gryffindor because he's, like, a big dummy and is always rushing into situations.
It's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's get to that summary.
Yes. Let's. Before we offend someone.
A green kaleidoscope effect comes over Macy as she scales the steps to the house with the photo of her and her mother in tow. She knocks on the door and Marisol answers. It worked, Macy says. In the present day, Galvin wakes up in Macy's bed. Macy tells him all is well. Downstairs, the girls, minus Macy, and Harry discuss the irregularity of literally everything that's just happened. Macy drops some eaves until Galvin comes down. There is a very tense discussion and no one is happy when it breaks up. Maggie finds Parker to get intel about Macy and the source. He has the page that Lucy stole from the book. Mel catches up with Galvin, who has figured out what Macy did and that there will be blowback. Harry tries to get Macy to take it slow with her new powers. She responds by reading his mind. He goes to meet Maggie and Mel to see the page in question. They are just about to make a breakthrough when Macy portals in, claiming she knows how to make them feel safe around her. We then repeat the beginning scene, only Marisol starts dying because of Macy's presence. Her sisters do not know her, but they do know of magic. Macy calls Mel the problem, and teleports to Handy Dandy's snacks where she finds Nancy. When Harry clocks her, Macy teleports them both to the woods. Nancy tells her she needs a different sacrifice if she wants to be with her mother. We prism to a different reality, where Macy lives with Marisol and Maggie stops in to do her laundry before returning to Kappa. In Seattle, Harry is attending a women's studies conference and meets Uber driver Mel. They basically replay a conversation from episode 1. Deja vu ensues. The side effects lead Harry to suggest breaking into a white lighter vault for a potion to restore memories. They return to Hilltown where they find insta-famous Maggie and give her the potion. At Marisol's office, Maggie tells Mel about Macy's hypervigilance around their mother, and Harry retrieves the prism to trap their powers. Macy interrupts and turns the prism to sand. Harry orbs them out. Macy portals home with enough force to knock Marisol out the attic window and kill her. Whoops.
Understatement of the year.
Yeah. Harry brings Maggie, and together they help Macy realize that altering reality to save Marisol is fruitless. She prisms into black. Actually, she prisms into a commercial break. Mel and Maggie wake up in a complete dystopia. They find Marisol in Macy's room. They tell her how their lives really turned out. Harry drops in and almost gets dropped by a machete. They find the page and Marisol translates it. Mel uses a balance restoration spell and her bracelet to bring her back to the point at which Macy felt their sisterhood had fractured. She gets thrown through the banister for her efforts. Everyone argues, and Macy sends her sisters and Harry to New York. They return to the attic and get caught up in a power vortex. The actor refusing to let Harry orb them out gets Macy to calm down. They perform the spell to remove the source's power, and it gets put in Macy's necklace, which then splits in 3. They hide the pieces, and Harry wipes their memories. The next morning, they all go to Marisol's grave. Maggie goes to hang with Parker, Mel agrees to let Nico go, Macy and Harry agree to never talk about what she read in his mind. Parker leaves, promising to come back when he has a better handle on his demon side. On the way back from Galvin's funeral, Chloe the Manic Pixie comes out of their house along with a whole smorgasbord of other magical creatures. They, on the spot, pretty much elect the Charmed Ones to be the new elders. The end.
And the best part.
And the best part is that they closed it out with Macy closing the door like Prue did at the end of season 1. Except without the fingers.
Yes.
Yes. That was a good moment.
That was a good moment.
Uh-huh.
That was a good summary.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
When they were at Marisol's grave, did it seem like a dream to you? Like, did it seem like a weird, like, fake out trap something?
It did a little bit, and you know why I think that was?
Because Harry was in a white pinstripe suit?
Yes.
Like, what? The what now?
It wasn't white, it was cream.
Okay, but it was a cream colored suit with black stripes on it. Very thin pinstriped.
Very wide.
No. The black stripes.
No, the black stripes were very widely spaced, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. That's when they were very thin black stripes.
Yes, but, like, pinstripes are always thin. It's because they're pinstripes.
Right.
It would just be striped if they weren't pinstripes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
you,
you,
Blue.
Anyway. But yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay.
Yeah, they had like a 1.5 or 2 inch spacing on those pinstripes. It was weird.
It was like, Maggie looked like she was in a wedding dress. Which was a little odd,
I like how
very
she tucked
Maggie.
that. I like how she tucked that shawl into her belt, and later we saw the dress without it, and it was like a one-armed affair.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
Yeah,
with a giant fucking flower.
And then Macy, completely covered, neck to wrist to feet, in a dress with flowers on it. It was very like feminine, pretty.
Yeah.
And then Mel, in a white dress with what I thought were black pants, but I think it was just like really dark black stockings, like black tights.
And her leather jacket.
Her leather jacket. And I was like, because, she got to be an edgelord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, always got to be edgy, that one.
Yeah.
But like, it felt like a dream moment where it was like, okay, the 3 girls in the dress at their mother's grave, okay, fine. And then they turn to see Harry, and he turns and he's in this suit, and I was like, this feels like a trap. What is happening? This feels like a dream. This feels like a trick. What's going on? And then they didn't turn out to be. So I'm like, oh, okay.
And then they had to change outfits in order to go to Galvin's funeral or memorial service.
I think the funeral was like
the next
day or something.
Yeah, but like there was no reason that couldn't have been condensed into the same day.
Right. I did wonder about that. Like, you could have just gone to visit Marisol at the same time as going to bury Galvin and then go visit Mom on your way home, unless for some reason they aren't buried in the same cemetery, which could very well be.
It didn't look like Marisol was buried in a cemetery. It looked like she was buried in a random field in the woods.
Well, that too then. I love the fact that they didn't actually show us Galvin's funeral.
Yeah.
That they just showed them coming home from the funeral. Because,
Yeah.
we don't need the sadness. There's not enough time to have the sadness of the funeral.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's fine.
The actor already got in all the scenes he's doing today. He doesn't need to be laying in a box holding his breath.
Exactly. I love that we get to have Chloe come back for that little final scene. And can I just...
And the satyr.
Yeah. What?
Satyr. It's a satyr.
Satyr. Why does he pronounce it that way? Because he's pretentious?
It's satirical.
And
I think that's actually the same root.
Probably, yes. But still. I love the fact that we get a whole mess of magical creatures who I don't think we've actually seen before.
Correct. Including some black lady in the back who looked like a Dora Milaje.
Okay, yeah.
Because she was bald and she was wearing the right shade of red.
Yeah. And then the
creepy
old lady who turned into 2 ladies.
Yeah.
Like, well, fuck. All right.
And the little boy in the 3-piece suit.
Yes. Yeah.
And the giant dude with the freaky bangs.
Yeah. There was some creepy faces out there, but like in the best way possible, you know? I also think it's very interesting that they're just like, the elders are gone. Guess what? You're it. Like, all right, that'll be an interesting way of doing things from now on.
I mean, hey, you kill the people in charge, you're now in charge. Or if your predecessors die, you get promoted. And let's face it, they had been answering to the elders. The elders were their bosses.
This is true.
And they, being the charmed ones, are above all other witches.
They were only technically answering to the elders.
They were supposed to answer to the elders.
Right, but originally. So here's my question, though. So the elders are gone, but the White Lighters aren't.
No. But remember, the elders are witches in this universe.
Right. So does that mean hopefully maybe we'll get more White Lighter... just random White Lighters popping in for instructions?
So.
You know?
I hope so, because now the girls have to be like, hey, are you doing your fucking job, bro?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Going back up to the top, I love how the logo did like a kaleidoscope in and then turned to like kind of glass looking.
It was green, by the way.
Cool.
All of the prisming was green.
Cool.
As was Macy's outfit. Well, at the beginning, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love how it like did like the kaleidoscope in and then it looked like glass with a little crack in it.
Yeah.
I was like, that's neat. That was very nicely done.
Margarita on the rocks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You know, I do have to admit, that's not a bad name.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be Insta famous, like go for it. I did have to look up who Olivia Jade is, though.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because without Mel, Maggie has become basically Olivia Jade. And I'm like, that name sounds familiar. Why does that name sound familiar? Oh, because that would be Lori Laughlin's daughter. Was the one who got into USC due to bribery.
Well, yeah, but like, Maggie doesn't need bribery.
That's right.
Her mom's on the faculty.
Right, but she apparently, Olivia Jade became a YouTube and Instagram star when she was still in high school and had like over 1 million followers.
I've never fucking heard of her. But then I'd never heard of Tati either before all that nonsense.
There you go. And I had heard of Tati. I learned about James Charles because of Tati.
Mm-hmm. I learned about Sophia Nygaard from you. Like,
yes.
And all of her videos have millions and millions of hits.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're not looking for it, you're never going to find it. Like, I've been watching soap making videos. It's like, looking up royalty soaps. Nobody would know about this fucking thing, but I just randomly stumbled upon a soap making video one day, and I'm like, sure, I'll watch this for a while. Oh, this is actually quite entertaining. Yeah. All right. And now I will go back and watch your entire back catalog for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only, like, things that my YouTube is recommending to me right now is Sophia Nygaard and Jenna Marbles. And I'm like, I'm already watching these two people. Find me some different shit, YouTube.
Yep. That's why you can click the little 3 dots and tell it you don't want to see that video anymore, and it'll stop showing it to you when you're recommended.
Yeah, but that's all it recommends me is various videos of theirs that I've already watched.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
So I have to keep doing that until time ends?
No, eventually
until the
it'll figure it out.
rapture?
Eventually it'll figure it out, and the rapture isn't coming.
The rapture isn't coming. What are all the cans in my basement there for?
The rats. I don't know.
The rapture?
Yes. There you go. I set that one up for you. All right. So, here's my question. So, Macy didn't just bring their mother back. She went back in time to when their mother was alive. But somehow the girls knew magic.
Okay, so here I paused during that and I thought it through.
Okay, good, because
she went back to the night that Marisol was killed and stopped that from happening. So, what happened is that Marisol unlocked all of her girls' powers, and then life continued, and she just had to tell Maggie and Mel about magic from then. That's how I'm seeing how it happened. That's how I think it happened. I mean, granted, it's a little nebulous. Either way, Macy changed a thing in the past. All she did was change that Marisol had died. That's all she changed, and this was the result.
And then somehow Maggie got extensions?
Oh, no, that's like the second one. That's like, no, the first time. When she goes to meet her at the house.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She goes to meet her at the house, and the girls know that they're witches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She changed that Marisol had died that night, but...
Right, and Maggie got extensions.
Oh, Maggie has extensions in like 3 of these universes, whatever.
Right, but that's my point, is like she didn't have extensions at the beginning of this whole show. Episode 1, her hair was the length it normally is. Mm-hmm. And then Marisol doesn't die, and all of a sudden Maggie's hair is down to her fucking butt. So that's
why is that your question?
Because it made me question if she went into an alternate universe that Marisol hadn't died, and the girls knew they were witches.
I think she just changed the universe. I think she was just tweaking random shit, whatever she could. Like, her powers. She's just like, I will make it so that Marisol hasn't died, and then comes back to the house and Marisol dies because she's there. Fuck, I forgot about that. Okay, let me go fix that. Let me find out what Nancy needs. Okay, now Mel gets to, like, fuck off to nowhere.
See, and I totally thought in that moment when she went to go see Nancy, and she's like, I have okay, I know the perfect sacrifice. For a second, I thought she was going to sacrifice Nancy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. We need a sacrifice? Fine, I will sacrifice you. And then we can all live together happy ever after.
No, that was Mel.
No, I get that. But, like, that was my very first thought.
It's funny because it was really well set up with the dialogue through there. So it's kind of funny that you went to the wrong conclusion.
Well, it was, like, that was my first thought. Like, just the initial, like, okay, I need a sacrifice. Well, I have a perfect one. Well, you killed her already because you know the whole thing is happening, whatever.
But yes, in this alternate reality, I guess Macy had been brought back and still, like, given up because Nancy's there and remembers her. But somehow Marisol hasn't died, and that was clearly the only tweak.
Yeah. So in this reality without Mel becomes the one who died at birth.
No, I don't think Mel became the one who died at birth. I think the deal became that Marisol was never to see her next child. Like, it kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, that could make sense.
In terms of poetic justice. Because, hey, like, you save this child, you have to lose the next one. She doesn't have to die, but you won't be able to see her.
Yeah, and then it also kind of makes sense a little bit because Mel is the one who doesn't have the same dad. So it's like, oops, I got pregnant. We'll just ship her off with her dad. Tell her I died.
Yeah, but they waited 2 years again for that. That's a really funny detail that they kept where it could have just been like, no, you have to, like, wean her and leave her.
Yeah. But, like, I kind of like the thought process there of, in this universe, Macy gets to have Mom.
And she's so paranoid about losing her again that she completely pushes Maggie out of the way.
Yeah.
And Maggie's, like, super fucking lonely and so becomes insta-famous.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting in the way that they changed up their personalities. And then...
Oh my god, Maggie turned into Lucy.
Yeah. I was kind of amazed that there was no Lucy.
Well, I mean, there wasn't enough time to show her, but...
Well, that's not true. They could have absolutely had her in, like, a picture with her. Like, Insta, whatever. Like, they could have done it. But I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because it kind of makes it seem that Maggie became Lucy.
Yeah.
Like, she just took over that role. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm loving the fact that when they go and they get the white lighter juice to get their memories back, they still remember the alternate universes. Which means that hopefully that actually means that Macy remembers the time she spent with her mother. Maybe. And so she actually got that time with her mother. I don't know if it'll happen that way because she didn't actually drink the white lighter juice, but she was the one who created it. So
I don't think that means that she would, though, because they change, like, Mel goes back in time. She doesn't change realities. She just goes back to the original one right when Macy had decided to make changes or whatever and goes from there. So I don't know if that Macy would remember anything.
That is true. Though I also think it's very interesting that the time to go back to wasn't when she got the source. It was deciding to bring Galvin back.
Yeah.
I love that was the breaking moment. Because it wasn't the, she has this demon in her, she took on the source, and that's when she was like, nope, I'm not your sister, I'm the source. It was when they tried to stop her from bringing back Galvin.
They didn't know that she was going to do that, though.
This is true. But I think it's interesting that that's the moment. That was a very, very wise choice.
Yeah.
In that moment.
And really, that is the beginning of the fracture, because her bringing back Galvin, like, changes his choice and then kills the people he saved.
Right.
So, if she never does that, then they don't worry that she's losing sight of consequences.
Yeah.
Horrible things happen to wizards who mess with time, Harry. They turn into David Tennant and they go feral.
Yes. Speaking of changing things, so we get the spell in the Book of Shadows in Apocalypse World.
Yeah.
I love that without Macy in the world, the apocalypse happens.
Yep.
Like, well, fuck. All right. Sure. Because she didn't have 3. The charmed ones weren't there to stop the apocalypse. I kind of love it. So, but here's my thing, right? So, we get Marisol showing them, this is a language written by elders for elders. Here you go. I can read it. Boom. Now you can too. And so we have Sister of Time and the Goddess whatever, and the Sister of Emotion and the Goddess whatever. And then in the book, it says the Sister of Space and the Goddess Anu.
Oh, yeah.
And she says God Anu. So that got changed. And in the book, it says to remove this cruel power. And none of the girls said the word cruel.
Yeah. What was the script supervisor on that day?
So, like, this show has been actually pretty good about their continuity bullshit.
Yeah.
To which I have to lovingly laugh and go, hey, look, they did take a book out of the original. Fuck up the continuity. Just blatantly fucking up the continuity that way. Like, because, yeah, it was Sister of Time and the Goddess Mamilu. Mamitu, sorry. I accidentally put an L instead of a T. And the Goddess Mamitu. Sister of Emotion and the Goddess Inanna. And then in the book, it's Sister of Space and the Goddess Anu. And she says God Anu. It's interesting to me why that got changed. Like, who fucked it up?
I mean, honestly, probably the script supervisor was like, this doesn't really change anything in the lore. We don't need to change that.
Yeah. I also love bopping up to the beginning of the episode for a second. We start out, the first time we see Macy in the house, and she's already not wearing the necklace. And Maggie in the kitchen is like, as long as Macy has the necklace from Mom. Didn't she get the necklace from Dad? Wasn't that said?
It was from Mom via Dad.
Okay. But it was like, as long as she has the necklace from Mom, she'll be able to stay balanced. And I was like, well, let's see how long it takes before she's unbalanced. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also love the fact that the heightened telekinesis is bad for everyone.
Yep.
Everything shakes. And so we get the thing at the end where it was let's not talk about what you read in my mind.
Yeah.
What would she have read in his mind in that moment?
I don't know.
Like, because he made it seem like it was don't listen to my weird sex stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it was weird sex stuff.
No, I know, but like that's kind of how it felt. Was don't listen to the weird shit you heard in my brain. Where when she said that she can read his mind, he was touching her, and he was talking about your sisters will never leave you because they're your sisters. So I'm confused as to what she would have heard in that moment.
I was assuming in the moment that it would have been something about, like, yeah, we're fucking terrified of you.
Yeah.
Or, like, I will absolutely pull them out if they're in danger, though.
True.
That kind of a thing.
Very true. I also love when the girls try to tell her that they aren't going to leave her. She doesn't believe them, and the source takes over and, like, blows out the window, and everything starts flying. And the girls, Maggie loses her staff out the window.
Yeah.
Mel tries to use her bracelet, and it flies off her fucking arm. And Harry's like, grab my hand, I'll orb you out. And Mel is the first one to be like, no, we're not leaving her.
Yeah.
I love that they let it be Mel first.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that they let it be Mel first. And I love that it finally, like, they lost their shit, but they're not leaving.
And she just portals the shit back.
Yeah, and she's finally like, okay, that means you're not going to leave me at all? okay, I can deal with this. We can work with this.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, you know, like, kids need to understand when they're having a tantrum that their, like, parent or guardian is going to be there for when they calm down and can tell them what is wrong.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I've experienced this while babysitting many a fucking time. Like, kids will have a goddamn tantrum because they're tired and they're overwrought.
Yep.
And you just got to be like, wait until it blows over and then be like, okay, would you like a nap now? Mm-hmm. Go to sleep.
My mother had the best thing with dealing with me and my brother. Whenever we would like have a freak out of any sort of proportion and like trying to get our way and whatever, she'd just look us dead in the eye and go, who do you think is going to win this argument? And that would usually work. Because like, fuck, that's right. You're the parent. You're the adult. God damn it. I have no rights. You know, like I have no say in this.
Yeah, my mother was less adept about that.
Yeah, well.
Mostly it was just escalate to yelling and then sit me on the stairs for timeout where I would scoot up them until I got to my room.
Not everyone is cut out to be a parent. This is why I don't have children.
Yes. My strategy is to just stare them in the eye. Say nothing, just stare. I got a kid to burst out into tears once doing that. It was great. He was terrified that I was angry with him. Now, he had just slapped me in the face while he was flailing around. Mm-hmm. And this wasn't even a tantrum. He was just really excited about something. And he slapped me, and so I just, like, grabbed his shoulders, sat him down on the couch, and looked at him. And then he bursted into tears, and he's like, don't be mad, don't be mad. And I'm like, I'm not mad.
I'm just disappointed. Oh, sorry.
No, he was 4. He wouldn't have understood that. He was also way behind his grade level, so he definitely would have understood that.
Yeah.
No, I said, I'm not mad. You need to go to bed. And then he went upstairs to bed.
Yep. Yeah. No, there's some, I'm sorry, there's some phrases that you hear the beginning, you have to finish it.
I know, right?
Yep.
I mean, get in the zone.
AutoZone. Yep. Anyway.
Have a nice trip.
See you next fall.
Damn it, Tom.
I also enjoy the fact that the pendant becomes 3 little pieces. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, we'll put these in opposite corners of the world.
The world doesn't have corners. It's a sphere.
Yeah, well.
Fuck you, flat earthers.
Yeah. But I love the fact that it's like these tiny little pieces. Because you can literally just drop it down a mine shaft, you know?
Sorry. Fuck you, flat earthers. This is the hill I will die on. If you want to kill me, you have to push me off the edge.
There you go.
But you gotta find the edge first. But yeah. I like that they're super tiny and totally nondescript. And true, they will never rust or rot.
Yes.
But hey, super easy to hide.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is, hide it in a landfill.
Yeah. No one's going to dig through. No one's going to dig through all of that shit.
Yeah. Drop it down a mine shaft. You could put it in the tiniest of places. Mm-hmm. Is great. Put it in a rocket, fling it to the sun.
Mm-hmm. Put it on the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. It can go just about anywhere. But it does make me question about the origin dagger. Is it still inside Macy? Did it disappear when the source power went into...
I don't know.
Into the pendant?
Maybe it's just that the pendant became the new origin dagger.
But that's why I'm questioning. It's like, did it become this new thing, and the only way to bring back the source is now to get these 3 pieces of this tiny pendant and put them back together?
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting, and it sets up things for the future if they want to go that route.
I like the whole, we have Harry wipe our memories bit.
Yeah.
Cover your tracks, girls.
Yep.
Hopefully Harry doesn't know where they put those things.
Correct. Because he would then have to wipe his own memory, which is a thing.
Although, who else is fucking taking them to the places where they're going to drop them?
Just buy a plane ticket. You could do it.
And make it back for Galvin's funeral?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you bring the thing to celebrate with? Fuck yeah, I got port. It was port.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, did you bring the booze? You brought the booze.
Yeah.
It was great. Let's see. Oh, I love the fact that Maggie went straight to Parker for help. Like, immediately.
And he's got trunks full of his dad's torture toys.
He had a thing for ball gags. Like, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah.
Because,
He wasn't into other people talking.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, ball gag is no pair of anguish. Am I right?
Yes. Very, very true. I also think it interesting, though, that we had that little moment of Parker being able to explain what the source would do to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And saying that the source, the power, feeds on a person's deepest insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find very, very interesting if it's supposed to be the source of all magic.
Mm-hmm.
It automatically feeds on the dark part of you. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like it might be a thing where it feeds on it so that you will fix it or something.
Maybe. But I love that Maggie, thinks about it for a moment and she goes, abandonment. Yep, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
It's like, think, Maggie, you're a psych major. Yeah, and you're a film major. Make me a fucking film about this.
Yeah, no, but once again, we had that little moment of Parker needing to mansplain to Maggie. In that little moment of because she's like, I don't fucking know. And he goes, no, you do know. You're a psych major. You can figure it out. And it took him.
That's technically
no, it's not mansplaining. But he had to remind her that she could do it for herself.
Yeah, that did irk me a bit.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest annoyances in the Parker-Maggie relationship for me personally.
Yeah.
Is that he keeps having to remind her that she can do things for herself.
Yep.
It's like, you shouldn't need a man to remind you you're an independent woman. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And once again, whenever Maggie had a ponytail, hairline looked fucking weird.
I mean,
it's too smooth.
Eh.
Which is what's leading me to think it might be a wig. And I honestly don't know.
I don't know. I'm a no-no.
Yes.
I'm a no-no. What are we at time-wise?
35.
Not too bad. Anything else we want to say before we go final thoughts?
I can't think of anything, but this is true every time someone asks me to make a list.
This is true.
So I guess final thoughts?
Let me just check my notes real quick, make sure there's nothing I missed that I wanted to talk about. There is one more thing. Why did Marisol not recognize Harry in the apocalypse world?
I would presume that's because...
Was it just an in-the-moment thing, a reflexive, where she did actually recognize him?
Was he her white lighter?
I could have sworn that, there was a whole thing there.
No. I don't think he really should have been her white lighter because, white lighters are supposed to stick somewhat close.
But even if she was an elder.
This is
She
true.
would have known who he was, and that's why I'm saying she was an elder. That's why she could read the book.
They used to have a lot more elders.
Right, but she was an elder, which is why she could read the book. So we know that she should have known that he was a white lighter by the fact that he orbed in.
Maybe she just got startled.
That's the only thing that I was thinking of, is because he then, she throws the thing at him, and he dodges it, and then goes, Marisol, nice to see you again, or whatever. And it's so they do know each other, but somehow, her reflexive reaction...
Well, to be fair, his suit was very tattered.
It was.
It was a hot goddamn mess.
It was indeed. Yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, no, the Mel seeing Nico the last time.
Oh, yeah.
That little bit.
That was cool.
Yeah.
I'm guessing she just grabbed the handle on the back of the van and let it take her.
No, not necessarily.
But that would have been the funniest way.
That would have been very funny. But I love that she waits for the van to be backing up till it gets to just about out of view, pauses the world, and because Nico is wearing the ring...
Yeah.
Which says a lot that she put the ring back on.
Yeah.
Because this is after the whole Greta took off the ring in the hospital thing.
Yeah.
She's wearing the ring again. Waves high, waves by, whatever. And then lets the world go and just disappears.
Oh, yeah.
And so it makes me wonder, like, how is Nico going to come in next season?
Mm-hmm.
Is she going to try and pursue Mel? Is you know, like, where's that little thread going to go?
She gonna become their Daryl/Andy melange?
Yeah, especially without Galvin now.
Yeah.
I'm still sad.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know. Oh, the other thing that made me laugh was Parker's leaving. Was Maggie's like, you know, I can't leave with you because I want to be with my sisters. That's kind of the whole point of this thing.
Yeah.
I have to be here for my sisters. I just told the source of all magic that I wasn't gonna leave.
Yeah.
I can't go off and leave now. You know, little things. But I love that she makes him promise that he'll come back when he gets his demon side in check. He says he promises. She telepaths to him that she loves him. He doesn't say anything back. And then he smokes out.
From the bottom up. It was really funny.
Yeah. Like, he picks up his bag and smokes out. And I'm like, okay, if you're trying to get your demon in check, maybe don't use the demon powers? Just saying.
You'd think that'd be elementary, but apparently not.
Apparently not so much. Oh, man.
Okay, so...
All right, so final thoughts. I think you're going to be surprised at the fact that this episode, because I know you don't give a rating, but I do, I'm going 9.75 out of 10.
Nice.
Like, I can't believe that I'm saying that this episode was almost perfect as a finale. Like, but it really was. Because if it had been
a lot.
If it had been a series finale, I would have been absolutely happy with it.
Yeah.
It answered all of the questions that needed to be answered. It didn't really leave anything hanging that you couldn't infer. And, like, you know, they left it open to interpretation, and I like that. So I really, really like the fact that it answered all of the questions.
Yeah.
But it left enough open that they can bring in more stories and change it up next season.
Yeah.
But if it had been a series finale, if they'd only gotten the one season out of it, it was a perfect ending for the season.
Yeah. I agree.
Absolutely perfect. There were just a little, like, couple little minor things where I'm like, okay, it isn't a 10 out of 10. It just can't be. I'm sorry. But, like, it was so close. It was so close. And, like, I had to keep reminding myself to take notes because I was so enthralled with where the story was going and, like, what was happening that, like...
Yeah, I had a little bit of that, too.
Yeah, like, I kept having to back up and be like, wait, what did I just see? That was... Wait, what? I have to watch that again. And I did that, like, at least 4 or 5 times in, like, the last 20 minutes. Where it's just, like, it was so enthralling. I loved the little nod at the end to the original.
Yeah.
With the closing the door without touching it. It was very sweet. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see where they take season 2 with now the girls in this seat of power.
Yeah.
And
Parker... responsibility.
Right. And Parker... with the demon in him, with nobody to help get the demon out of him because mommy's gone, and no brother and no father trying to control him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting where they take that. There's so many, like, the things that they left open are awesome things to leave open.
Yes.
That even if we, like I said, if they had never gotten a second season, it was like, I hope that, you know, you can headcanon it of he figured out something else. He went on a journey like Galvin did and figured out how to get rid of it. You know, there's so many different ways that it could go in my brain that I love it and I'm happy with it. And so I'm really excited to see where they actually take it all next season.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it.
Same.
I'm also quite happy that I will be entering the second season actually liking the show.
This is very true. I mean, for my part, I'm always happy with, like, a let's find out what changes when we alter time kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And this definitely had a almost Star Trek-y feel in the like the parts that got changed led to these particular consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very happy with the way that they wrote Macy's discovery of the fact that she needs to not fucking alter reality. And it felt organic, even though when they, like, rewound time, it had been much less time.
Yes.
so it still happened, but like condensed in a way that didn't feel rushed.
And I also love the fact that it's a show that if you're a fan of the original and you have an open mind and you sit through it, and if you're not you don't have my brain, it might not take you 10 episodes to get into it. But I'm really, really glad that like we did this reboot podcast, because it forced me to watch it, and it forced me to put everything I knew aside and like stop trying to think of it as Charmed and just think of it as a show. Mm-hmm. And I think that was really the key in not even trying to like not compare it to the original, because that's never going to happen. I will always compare it to the original. I just will. It's like the new Star Wars movies. You always compare them to the old ones because that's what you know.
I mean, it's a little different because this is a reboot and not a continuation.
True, but the first Star Wars movie was basically just the fourth Star Wars movie. Like the first movie with Rey was basically just retelling of the story from A New Hope.
I mean, yeah, it was easy to map it on.
Right.
But there were also like
some
changes.
It
was interesting where it went different.
Yeah, exactly.
And how it went different.
Exactly. And that's the whole point of this is for me, if we keep it in Star Wars context for a second, I instead of thinking of Force Awakens as A New Hope, just think of it as its own movie in its own genre and love it for what it is. And the other movie is its own movie and in its own genre. So, like for Charmed, for the original, it was a great show. Love it dearly. So glad we have this podcast, because now I get to rewatch it and relive it and relove it. And then the reboot comes along, and my immediate reaction, of course, is, oh, well, you know, it's not going to be as good as the original. It's never going to be as good as the original. But as soon as I finally got that out of my brain of it's not trying to be the original, it's trying to be its own thing, it's just using elements, it became a much better show. And once they, that
unfortunately did take you 10 episodes.
It did take me 10 episodes. And I feel bad about that. I really do. And I kind of, having now watched the entire season.
You want to go back?
I kind of want to go back. I'm not going to do it for this podcast. So sorry.
No. We're not going to re-record the reboot. No. We're not going to reboot.
Yeah, no. But like personally, I kind of want to go back and watch the first few episodes and see, now that I know where it's going, if I feel differently.
I think you should binge watch as far as you can.
Yeah.
I honestly think you should just do that, because then you'll get in the mindset of just being a viewer.
Yeah.
Not a person who needs to know whatever the fuck is going on. Like, challenge yourself not to pause as much as possible.
Yeah. And
I mean, if you need to pee. Like, pause, then go to the bathroom and take your pants down and then pee. Just to be specific.
Thank you for that. Thanks.
Because, I mean, like, make you a prince? Like...
And I am not in the Amanda Show.
Yeah. And I am Amelia Bedelia. So I know to be specific.
Yes.
And precise. Because those are two very different things. Actually, sorry. Precision and accuracy are two different things.
Correct. But yeah, I'm very excited. I think I'm going to go back and like rewatch the beginning and knowing where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And see if my brain will be like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
You know, or see if those little things are still going to piss me off.
Yeah.
Because Mel being one-dimensional at the beginning it was so stereotypical at the beginning. And she mellowed out so much. No pun intended. But she did. She got to be much less one-dimensional, and she actually started becoming a person instead of just a caricature. And I'm very happy with her growth.
You know what that is?
As a character.
Growth.
Yes. I love that. But yeah, like I'm happy that I ended up really, really enjoying the show.
I am too, because it made this experience much more enjoyable.
Yeah. I think we're done.
Yeah, and the reboot will come back sometime in the fall.
Yep. At some point when the show comes back, so will this podcast.
Yes.
As a Patreon exclusive first.
Yes. Figure out the details later.
Yep.
We done?
We done. We have no sign-off.
And we won't for a while longer.